Collin Plume from Noble Gold. Just tell us about your company, what you're doing. And I just want to encourage our audience. Like, I never tell you what to do with your money, but I can tell you what I'm doing with mine. I'm buying stuff I can touch.
Yeah, well, and especially this week, I think that we've seen, over the years when people would wire us money out of a bank, sometimes the banks would try to discourage them. They would tell the client as they walked in, they would tell, are you sure?
Yeah.
Do you really want to do this? But I've had a lot of funny calls from clients where they said this is the first week that they bought gold from us, that even the bank that they went to didn't discourage them to sending us money. And they know who we are. The banks obviously know who we are.
Of course.
So we've had a massive influx of people that just want to get out of the banks. Even people that aren't with, SVB or, Stupid Valley Bank or whatever you want to call it. Even people that aren't with that bank.
Or Credit Suisse, man. Oh my gosh.
Or Credit Suisse, obviously.
Yeah,
Credit Suisse is almost 2 times the size of, or 2.5 the size of Silicon Valley Bank.
Yeah, it's 1.5 trillion in assets. Yeah.
So that would be a massive
collapse.
Yeah, collapse. I mean, that would change things pretty dramatically in the system. But overall, the banking crisis has been something that I've talked about for a long time.
Yeah, you have.
And it comes down to banks today. They obviously need to make a return. And a lot of the banks today are struggling to find a decent return, especially ones that bought treasuries a year ago. But this collapse, I think, made no sense in that when they bought those treasuries a year ago, it didn't make any sense that they didn't take the lick back last year, sell some of it. Why would they sell 60% of what they had today? It was the perfect storm for that bank. And there's 6 or 7 other banks that are in a similar position. And we'll see what happens over the next few weeks.
Yeah, and this all kind of comes down to some really basic questions that we don't talk enough about, which is what is money? What does it represent? And what system do you have to create money? And is your money actually tied to value, right? And so money going back thousands of years ago was a creation because the barter system really doesn't work very well, right? Because if you have chickens and you want to have eggs, well, they could perish or they could spoil. But what if I don't want chickens and you don't want eggs? So you need money, right?
Yeah.
Money's important.
Yeah.
But history shows us something almost mystical about gold. Almost. And I'm not just saying this, where it has been an agreed upon holder of value in every civilization, every type of country. Why is that? Why is that gold has had this stability regardless of different currency systems?
Well, to go over your first analogy is when you're trading and barter, you want an item that during the transaction is going to hold its value over that transaction. So gold is the perfect item to hold its value over their transaction because, as you can see over there, it's not going anywhere. It's not perishable. It's fungible, and also you can hold a tremendous amount of value in a small,
in your pocket.
In a pocket, yeah. I mean, that's
what would this be right now?
That's like 10 grand in gold right there.
There you go.
So I mean, so you can hold a lot of it in a small way. It's liquid, and so people all over the world have, as you mentioned, been fascinated with gold. India, I mean, there's all these countries.
The Mesopotamian river civilizations, the Egyptians.
They've all had it, and they've all used it in
jewelry. They independently found gold as a way to store value.
Correct, yeah, and it's a great bartering instrument. And also, when you look at our fiat system, the way it's set up it's just. We're always playing a guessing game of when is a bank going to fail, when is our dollar going to continue. And, inflation's been 8-10%, I've been saying for many years. Now it's reported at 7 to 9%. It's way higher than that, absolutely much higher than that. So I think now people are saying, like, I got to have some gold, I got to have some silver as just a hedge. And be diversified because so many people, I mean, we saw these people over 250,000 running to the banks afraid, and they just didn't feel comfortable. And listen, Biden said there's nothing to worry about, but this is one big bank. If 2 or 3 other banks of this size or close to this size go under, do we have enough to cover?
No, I mean, no, and I want to focus on the fiat part, but first I want to do this throughout the hour. Website. Talk about the company.
Noble Gold Investments. Yeah, Noble Gold Investments, we've been in business only for 7 years, but I've been in the space for almost 14 years, selling precious metals. And because of partners like you and other partners we've had, we've actually, in the last 3 years, become the #1 gold IRA company in the country.
That's amazing.
And we've sold over $1.3 billion in gold and silver in just the last 3 years.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, Collin, and there's the reputation of people in the gold business is bad. You know that.
Yes.
You guys are great. Yeah. Ethical, honest.
Thank you.
Transparent. So I could say that, because we've sent a lot of people your way, and it's an overwhelming report. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, come on, gold guys," and that is kind of the reputation, right? Is that there's a lot of shenanigans.
Yeah.
That's not this. NobleGoldInvestments.com. And look, I say this again. I'm not a financial wizard. The people that are financial wizards are actually idiots, like Jim Cramer. But isn't it rational that when you have more dollar bills than you know what to do with, you kind of go back to the roots of value, which is gold? You could touch it. You could store it. Transport it. It's a reasonable hedge.
Yeah, and we were talking about, you want to buy things that have a limited supply, and gold, the amount of gold that's mined, 1%, a little less, a little more, but that's pretty much it per year. So it can't expand as much as money, and it can't expand as much as other items, and it's a metal that everybody wants. And last year, you talked about this a lot. Last year was the biggest central bank buying of gold than we've seen in almost 20 years.
They even know that.
They even know to get their money out of the banks. So yeah.